Hello, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to learn the guided setup. And so we will go to the guided setup. We will see what all prerequisites we do have, what all other components are required in CSM to implement a successful CSM in the organization. Let's go to the ServiceNow, and here you can go to all. You can again find the customer, and inside the customer service, we have the administration module. In administration module, we have guided setup. So click on it. So this is home page of guided setup. And before we start, there are few points that we need to understand. So when we are doing the customer workshop, it's very, very necessary to go through this checklist and understand what we are going to implement. CSM is a very vast module, but it needs to implement based on the business model customer is opting. So if your customer is only working in B2B model, then we need to understand, and anything which is related to B2B model only we are going to implement. If they are selling the product to the consumers, then they will be following B2C model. So based on the customer business, we need to understand what model we are going to implement. So there might be a possibility like customer is using B2B as well as B2C, both. Okay, so when we go to the more detail, so in B2B we have the accounts, in B2C we have the consumers. We need to understand more about the account name, organization addresses, franchisees, and we need to understand customer business. So this is pre-set up checklist. That means we should have this information so that we can have the CSM implementation. Okay, in this video, we will cover the complete overview of guided setup, and in subsequent video, we will go step by step to implement those guided setup steps. So we need to understand who all are the consumers, what all their basic details are, and we should have those details. So those details can be in Excel format, which can be imported to the system, and then after having a one-time setup, we need to set up a process like on how the customers or consumers can manage further in automated way in system. So it can be automated, it can be manual as well. So based on the new contract signed in the organization, if we have a CMDB manager who is supposed to account or supposed to manage all these customer and accounts and consumer details, then it can be done as well. Then we need to go further about the product information. So as a supplier or provider, if we are selling some product to any of the customer, what all product models are, what all assets are, what is the install base, what all service contract and entitlements are, we need to understand all those points. So this particular section is related to business. Once we understand the business, then the next step is whenever we are going to have any issues, any of the interactions, how it is going to be handled. What all agents we need to set up in the system, what all groups we need to set up in the system, who all will be the group managers. Do we have a single CSM customer center, or it will be at multiple locations? And accordingly, we need to set up the agent groups, group manager. We need to have the skills also need to be managed in ServiceNow. So based on the skill, if we are looking for the routing of the cases which is created from the interactions by the customer, then this skill management is also a very, very important role in CSM. Then we need to understand how the case routing and assignment is done. So if we are supporting n number of customers and it's on various geographies, then we need to set up the routing as well as we have 3 options in ServiceNow, like matching rule base, assignment rule base, and assignment workbench. So we can set up any of the required options in ServiceNow so that the case can be routed to the appropriate group on time. Next, we go to the communication channels. These are the channels on how the customers or consumers can interact with the customer service agent. Okay, so we have multiple modes and we need to understand which option we are going to enable. Email, phone, chat, or the self-service portals. Then we also need to capture and share the knowledge with our customers. So we need to set up that knowledge base, and we need to enable the knowledge search as well, so that whenever customer is trying to log a case, and if there are any related article already exist, then they should do the self-help and should resolve the issue by themselves. So it's very, very necessary. Once we have done with the analysis, and once we have this particular data available, then we can go for the further implementation part. So let's start the guided setup. So you can see it's a very big setup. Okay, there are around 20 steps that we need to do, and each step has multiple tasks. First is set up the foundation data. That is very, very important. So when we talk about the foundation data, it talks about the accounts, consumers, fulfiller user groups, how we are import the AD users, whether we are going to use SSO, LDAP, and so on, what all roles we are going to have it, how we are assigning the roles, import the product models or sold product information, and then manage it further. We need to manage the install base if we are following that. Any assets, relationship, contracts, entitlements, account teams we need to maintain, and we need to enable the address data model for accounts. Once we do set up all these things, then only our foundation is completed. That means we have the base ready in CSM. So we will go through one by one. We will try to complete most of the step of this CSM implementation. This is the first video of the implementation. Before that, we had the videos to understand what exactly the account is, contract is, contact is. So please go through my previous videos if you haven't gone through it, because it's very necessary to understand the terms we are using here. Okay, second is, in case we are looking for any user organization based people who does requires the management of the customers contacts. Okay, in that case, we need to understand to whom we need to give the internal role, to whom we need to give the external role. And there is a possibility we will be doing some of the mistakes, because external people usually does have SNC_external role, and along with that, if we want them to do certain other works, we need to be very, very cautious what role we are giving. So by default, if we talk about the internal role, we have this SNC internal roles. So we need to categorize the users in these 4 type of criteria, and then in system we have a utility. We can run that utility so that in case any conflicting role we have assigned due to the knowledge we do have, then it will correct. It will highlight those incorrect roles, and this job is going to fix that appropriate role for those users. Okay, so then we'll go through the service model foundation. This service model foundation is not used by everyone. So the companies which does have the franchisees or have the offices at multiple locations usually follow this particular model. So this requires a separate plugin, and we can activate the query rules as well, forms and lists to be configured accordingly, business locations to be managed. We need to add the staff to the business locations, assign the specific roles, okay, and the services which are offered by these business locations. So if a company does have multiple locations at multiple addresses, multiple cities, multiple geographies, have the franchisees, have outsourced their business to the external organizations, all that is managed under this service model. So you can see here, internal business location and staff members to be managed, external business location and staff members to be managed, and the household and household members to be managed. So internal organization means whenever we have an organization and it has multiple offices managed internally by the head office. Or external business is when any company, any account is outsourcing some of the services to other service providers and managing their business. Okay, third is household. Household is the concept of all for the services which is used in the houses like DTH services, broadband services, where every household member is basically utilizing it, and we have a household head who is the primary stock. Okay, then we will go through the case types. So let's understand why do we need case types. So whenever any product is sold to the market, there might be some issues that is highlighted and that is recorded under case. So there is a possibility the case form which we are using to have the issue recorded for the existing sold product, that might have a different form or different set of field or different set of information to be provided by customer. When anybody is returning any product, okay, or if product is requires some services for the repairment, there is a possibility the field on the case form is different. Such type of cases we can create the case types in system. So we need a case type not only for the simple categorization, but if required say full set of fields difference or it has a different flow. So when somebody is returning a product, it will have a flow that goes to the different team. When there are cases, it will go to the team who is supposed to fix the cases. Such situations where we have a different flow, different field required, in that case we can create separate case type. Keep in mind this separate case type table is an extended case table. So it's a different table. That's the reason we need to again configure all UI policies, client script, business rules, UI actions, case types, notification rules, ACLs, everything separately. Okay. So on case form, if we have it, if we are following different type of case types, then for each case types, we need to follow a separate set of rules that needs to be configured. Then case management, the most important topic. So here the case management is the primary entity in CSM. And this entity says how we are creating a form. If any updations are required, that is done. In case any SLA definition, routing, assignment workbench, special handling notes, escalation management to be managed, all these are managed for a case. Okay, then we have the major issue management, case action status, and auto case resolve cases if you want, case digest. These are the topics which needs to be configured. Once we configure it, our case management is done. So in setup, we will also go through this particular setup. Then proactive customer service management. So this is more related to the item event management. Okay, where proactively from event management, we understand what potential issue could be, and we have a communication also sent out to all related customers before even customer is reaching out to us for any issues, because we can identify from item event management what all components are down, if any CI or component is down, and then we have the information this component is related to which particular customer. Those customers are notified in advance proactively, right? That's why we have this proactive customer management. Integration with service management. So we spoke earlier, a case can be converted to an incident, problem, change, or a request, right? That's where this integration with service management is a separate plugin that we need to enable. So you can see here, activate customer service with service management and request management. These two plugins, if we enable it, we can set up a relationship between a case and the incident. Okay, next goes to service portfolio management. So if we are using this particular module of service portfolio management, we can set up and we can activate this specific plugin, and this helps the customer agent give the visibility of the sold product and the related service offerings as well. So service portfolio management, if you remember, then this contains what all products are live, what all products are in pipeline, and what all products are historical. So it has all required product information. It manages the product life cycle, and it keeps all that product related data. So this integration gives customer service manager and agents and service owners the visibility about the full sold product and related service offerings which are enabled for the market. Skill management plays a very vital role in CSM, where we need to manage these skills. So think for a banking customer who is managing their banking services, who is managing the customer card services, who is managing the loan services. So we can set up these different skills like customer credit card services, loan services, or any other different services, right? So that whenever somebody is giving a call and they would like to have the specific service request, then the agent who is specialized in that area can pick up that particular discussion or interaction and resolve that particular issue. Otherwise, if we are going to the central bench of central CSM bench, I could say, then in case they are not aware about that specific product, the ticket is again to be routed to the specific group. That is the time consuming. To have this in system, this will ensure the customer is whenever they are resolving, or whenever they are submitting a case, that is resolved promptly by the specialized people. Then let's go to the communication channels. This says what all channels we are going to enable for the customers to interact. So if we want only emails, if we do not want phone, then we only need to set up email and chat. If we don't want chat, then we only need to set up email and phone. So this particular entity or activity will enable the respective communication channels. Then we have B2B and B2C. Based on the model customer is opting or customer is using, we need to develop these portals. Out of box we have 2 portals. We need to customize few portals little bit based on the branding we have, based on the customer detail we have, what we want to show on the portal. Accordingly, we need to customize these portals. Then customer project management. So if we are using PPM module, then customer portfolio, project portfolio management integration can be done with cases. Then multi-factor authentication for the portal. So if you want user to use a multi-factor authentication based on the OTP or any other method or email, then we can enable the MFA for the customers as well as for consumers, so that it makes it more secure and avoid the potential vulnerabilities. We have few customer service properties like customer case auto resolution, customer email autoresponder, right? Such things we can set up based on the customer properties itself. Knowledge base. So this helps to create the knowledge base for the cases which are not resolved by using any of the knowledge article. That means knowledge article doesn't exist. Then this particular configuration will help to create the automatic knowledge base on the closure or the resolution of that particular case. So we can define user criteria who can access which knowledge case, and we also need to ensure the customers can only see the related knowledge articles for the product which they have bought. So that knowledge management criteria we need to configure in the system. Then configurable workspace. This is for the agent who are basically using the configurable workspaces, and they need to ensure we do set up that configurable workspace in the way it is useful for the agents. Agent need not to navigate to the multiple pages, and all required information should be visible to them. Okay, let's quickly have a look on the existing CSM configurable space as well. So this is home page where they can see what all high priority cases are there, how many unassigned cases are there. If we go to list view, the agents can see all cases, tasks, major issue management, any customers, whether it's account, partner, contract, any interactions if it's there, then any knowledge articles which already exist in the system, any communications, conversations which are happening into the system, tasks, SLAs, related incident, problem, changes, request, and basic CMDB related applications as well. If we go to the specific case, then in case they can see any special handling notes if it is. So this is one of the sections that also to be managed under case management. And then we have the full account information, account contact related details, what are the timelines we are on, and in case they want to have email communications, all those are listed here. If they want to send email related to this particular case, they can use the compose email and it can be sent from there. If we need to escalate the case, agent would like to, then they can escalate case from here and the escalation manager can accept and take the further action. In case any knowledge article gap is there, then this can also be reported directly from here. If you want to send the case action summary to the managers or any other required holders, this options can be used as well. If we need to convert this particular case to the related incident or related work order, then this is very easy and we can use this option to change it to the work order. Okay, let's go back to the guided setup now. Okay, so after CSM workspace, we have two activities related to the Customer Central. Customer Central is a portal which gives a 360-degree view to view the customer related information. So it has all customer sold product, customer info, all related install base and any other activity which is customer interaction are there. So how we can quickly connect to the customers, this particular Customer Central module provide all those functionalities in system. So once we set up that, then CSM can also be set up on any of the mobile devices as well. Okay, so it could be iOS, it could be Android, and where agents can accept the case, they can reassign the case, edit the case, and they can resolve the cases as well. Okay, once we are done with this guided setup, then there is a field service guided setup is there. So it's up to us if our organization is providing the field level services where the agents needs to go to the customer location and fix the issues, then we can go for FSM, Field Service Management Guided Setup, which requires a separate plugin to be enabled. Once we set up that, the final step is we need to verify our email settings. We need to delete the demo data we do have, and we need to set the assignment rules. We need to just review it, have our system cloning in case it's required, and then we are good to go live. So that's it for the guided setup. In our next setup sessions, we will go through one by one, and in case we need to import some of the accounts, we are going to do. Otherwise, we'll create some accounts manually. We already have some of the data. So import process probably we will not demonstrate, because you can take the XML, Excel export, and you can get the data filled by the customer and or any other third party system you are having in the specified format, and it can be imported into system. Okay, I will certainly demonstrate you how you can import the data, so that one-time import setup, if you understand, you would be able to import the data from any other tool. And we will go through each account, contract, consumer, user, group setup, so that we will be completing this whole implementation. Thank you. Thanks for your time. If you like, please like and subscribe my channel.